Re-elect Wes Allen, Childersburg City Council Ward D in the municipal election in Childersburg coming up on August 26th. We're joined by Wes Allen this morning. Wes, good morning.
Hey, Jimmy. How are you this morning?
I'm well. Good to have you with us this morning. And, of course, people want to know who the candidates are. Who is Wes Allen?
Sure. Wesley Allen. I'm 34 years old. This is my re-election campaign. This would be my second term if I'm elected. I'm married. I have 3 kids, 5, 3, and 0.
Oh, wow.
The small one's just a little over a month old. And I just care about my community. I was raised in Talladega County, moved to Childersburg in 2016, and saw an opportunity to help make a difference. And I'm very proud of what both me and the mayor and the rest of the council have accomplished in the past 5 years.
Why did you decide, you're 34 years old, why did you decide, hey, this is something I want to do for the city of Childersburg?
Well, if you're not willing to do something about it, you can't complain about it. And that's always been my philosophy. And I feel like I've got a special set of skills from my private sector work and also some leadership type things I've done that hopefully I can bring a special skill set and perspective to help push the city forward. You and I both have a church background, and the thing that you always notice with a growing church is what? It's typically young families.
Yes.
And so I feel like being a young family, I can help represent those needs and the current challenges that families face and bring that to the table.
Before we get into the political aspect of it, what type of work do you do outside of work for the city?
Sure. I'm a certified nerd. I've been in information technology all my career. I started at Coosa Pines Federal Credit Union, and then I went to Coosa Valley Electric Cooperative, and now I'm at a statewide company that Coosa Valley's part owner in called Alabama Fiber Network, and we are tasked with grants from the state to get internet to the rural areas. We're what's called middle mile. We don't get it to the house, but we're the highways that get the internet back and forth.
Wesley Allen, candidate for Ward D in the Childersburg city elections coming up, and Sylacauga has districts and Childersburg has wards. Not any difference other than the name, right?
I've wondered where the history of that's from. I need to ask the League of Municipalities, but some have numbers, some have letters, some are districts, some are wards, but still just a geographic area.
We'll talk a little bit about what has been accomplished in your first 5 years and what you'd like to see continue if reelected.
Well, the things that I'm most excited about, roads, signs, the basic things, in my mind, that's business as usual. That's the bare minimum for a mayor and council to make sure they handle. Drainage, that's one thing we've taken care of. That's all standard stuff. The big stuff that we've accomplished, I believe, is we've passed an abatement ordinance, which is really helping to clean up our city. Now that takes time to take effect. It takes many years for it to fully be realized, to make Childersburg a clean city, to make it one that we can be proud to look at. We've gotten new ambulances through grants that our staff has applied for and the mayor's been a big proponent of. We've purchased police cruisers. Even before I was on the council, I was on the utility board. And one thing I'm proud to be a part of is they've got a new office making downtown look better. It was much needed. Remodeled Parks and Rec facility, new police station, new judicial building, and we improved the payment on our employees' health benefits. Those are things that are significant to me.
Everybody, and with the rain that we've had, drainage certainly is an issue wherever you are, and it's certainly that in Childersburg too.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a river city. It's right there on the water. It's definitely an issue. We've had stormwater projects over in my neighborhood on 13th Avenue, DeSoto. We had some significant work done there. Tore up the neighborhood, but the results speak for themselves, right? Had a large drainage project in Pleasant Valley. A lot of significant changes over the city to help make people's quality of life better.
Where is Ward D? What areas does it encompass?
So by and large, it's the southwest part of Childersburg. There is some of downtown in there, but once you go west of 280, that's most of mine. South of like Burger King, it's cut up a little bit, but that's most of it. Well,
you mentioned Highway 280, the main thoroughfare through Childersburg, and Childersburg gets a lot of eyes on them from travelers coming through.
Absolutely, that's a huge thing. We talked to AlDOT about the traffic numbers, and of course they continue to increase. And while we have to, and it's really AlDOT's responsibility, but we work as a public partnership to make 280 safer. That's why you've seen some of the changes. And hey, I get annoyed like everybody else to have to go down and turn around, but lives are more important than the few seconds that it takes to cut across.
Childersburg's police and city offices going to be relocating, and they're out there on Highway 280, and I know you're proud of that.
We are proud of that, and I think more importantly, it was done fiscally responsibly in my mind. So in my private sector work, I've worked with budgets even up to $50 million. Childersburg's a $5 million entity. Last I checked with our clerk, we are at around 12 to 13% debt service. I think I watched Brian's interview with Sylacauga, and he's right. The max you want to go to is 20%. So we've done all these capital projects and stayed within a healthy debt service budget. To have a police, an in-house fire, an ambulance department, street and road, recreation for $5 million, what we do when we speak to other municipalities,
it's almost unheard of.
It's unheard of. And we're very proud of what we've done. And part of what we did is we did have to add a 1% tax increase for those employee benefits so we could retain employees.
Of course, we're talking with Wesley Allen. He's candidate for re-election in Ward D in the Childersburg municipal elections. 5 years, of course, that was due to COVID, and 5 years is a long time. When did you begin to settle in? You'd never been in politics before until you ran for election in Ward D 5 years ago. When did you begin to settle in and get your feet on the ground real good?
I would say it takes a good year to year and a half. All the cities and anyone selected will now, it's a state law that they'll go through training with the Alabama League of Municipalities. I've been through the training. There's a lot that you learn just by socializing with other cities. You don't know what you don't know, right? And so I'd say 2 years is really what it took to get, a year and a half to 2 years to get acclimated to where you can get stuff done. Because Alabama, it's not a home rule state. You can't just do whatever you want. It's only what the state allows you to do.
Housing in Childersburg, as it is any other cities, is so important. And some good news for the folks in Childersburg, got a couple of housing projects that's happening there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very excited to have 2 developments in our city. We've got 2 projects that are the plan should be 190 units total added. And as I said, I work with Coosa Valley Electric, and what's going on in Childersburg right now is very reminiscent of Lincoln 5 to 7 years ago when their housing boom started. So what we're doing as a municipality is making sure we're the friendliest people to do business with, to make it easy to come in, build houses, build your businesses right there in Childersburg.
Why is it so important, and the excitement continues to build of the city of Childersburg overall?
There is definitely an unspeakable, you've got to ramp up and have excitement. I don't know, there's got to be the chatter, there's got to be the talk, you have to have some momentum. And we definitely, the previous council and Mayor Wesley did a great job before I came on board, and they had done some really great things downtown. We were growing downtown and then COVID hit. It definitely knocked the momentum back just a little bit, and now I'm seeing our momentum come back we've got the chicken coop downtown now, we've got the Nevermore, we've got a new salon coming, a lot of things coming back to back, and I'm seeing the momentum come back. And
Childersburg, Wesley, is a historical city as well.
Absolutely, it is. We call it the River City. The history with DeSoto coming through and what happened, it's an amazing history that we probably don't talk about enough. As you notice, our symbol is the conquistador, and amazing history of how we were settled, and it is arguably the oldest settlement in the United States.
Wesley Allen, candidate for re-election Ward D in the Childersburg City election coming up on August 26th. Oftentimes in cities, no matter what the size, there is bickering back and forth with the council. Childersburg Council seems to be the opposite of that. It seems like you get along pretty good.
Yeah, Jimmy, that's a good point. One of the biggest knocks that I think we've gotten is that we're yes men. And I can tell you, if you asked Mayor Wesson if he had hair, I probably would make a couple pieces of his hair fall out because of the disagreements we've had. But you can disagree agreeably.
Sure.
And we believe in that. It's better for the people if we maintain, to the best of our abilities, a unified front. And there's absolutely been examples where certain council people, including myself, felt like we had to take a stand opposite to the rest of them. But we are pulling in the same direction. And I think the key is the mayor and council that we've had for the past 5 years, and I hope this continues, is we don't see Childersburg as it is. We see it as it can be.
Wow, fantastic. Wesley Allen, our guest this morning, candidate for re-election in Ward D of the Childersburg municipal elections on August the 26. And, we talked about the housing developments there, and the housing developments are key to bringing in new business.
Absolutely. It's a chicken and the egg situation. And again, you got to have that momentum. You think about those 190 units, average of 2.5 people per those house. It adds up very quickly. It's going to be a significant advancement in our population. If you look at the census data, obviously, Childersburg was a boom town. Great documentary, PBS documentary about boom town during World War II when AOW was generating powder. And once those 40,000 people left, we've been stagnant around 4,000 to 5,000 people for quite a few years, in fact, since the 70s. And we finally are starting to turn that trend, and it's really because of 280. 280 is the reason for our growth and be able to attract industry and turn people.
If reelected on August 26, what will be your pledge to not only people in Ward D, but to the other voting populace of Childersburg?
Well, I like to keep things simple. I'm a simple guy, and my first term, the reason I ran was simply just to make sure our industrial park was shovel ready, and that's a big deal. We've gotten a seeds grant thanks to Calvin Miller and Talladega County EDA, our utility board in the city. We're going to have sewer, water, gas. We have telecommunications. It's shovel ready, and so I feel like we've checked the box there. We've got Cooper Steel expanding, hiring new employees. I feel like we've done our job. We just need a little bit of time to recruit those industries now. This next 4 years is going to be about families. That's what I'm focused on, is young families, making sure we've got things to attract people that have young kids and also have jobs and can bring money into our economy.
Talk more, Wesley, about that industrial park of Childersburg. You hear a lot of conversation about it, and that's a lot of times the backbone of a community. Other cities have that too, but showcase Childersburg Industrial Park.
Yeah, what we've got is really something special. It's not without its challenges because of the AOW history out there, but it is, you might argue that we may not have the best hand because of the environmental challenges that have previously been had out there, but now we're the last hand. Most of the mega sites in the state have been sold. We are one of the last mega sites available with that large a tract of acreage. And so what we offer is not available in the state currently, and so it makes our hand look better. And so what we've been doing as leaders is just making sure that it is shovel ready, to make sure all the infrastructure is there. That's the name of the game. You've got to have all of them ready, because when most of these operations are assessing sites, it's all about how quickly can I get turned up and operational. And you have to have the rail, sewer, the road infrastructure. We're building a new road through there. Cooper Steel is expanding. We're building in the sewer infrastructure. I don't want to take too much time with it. There's a lot of detail there, but that's been my focus for the past 5 years.
The police and fire department services in Childersburg always looking to add new vehicles and that kind of thing. And you touched on a little bit earlier about the new ambulances and things like that. Talk more about the Childersburg PD and fire departments.
We're so proud of the job that they do, and we wouldn't support them if they didn't do a good job, right? If it's not working, we would change it. They are absolutely doing a great job. I think the best way to answer it is to give you a personal story, and that is my daughter had an allergic reaction, and in the middle of the night, she could not breathe. She was choking, and her throat was closing in. I called 911, and those guys were there in 3 minutes to take her to Birmingham. And to me, that is worth, and this goes back to the tax increase we did to make sure their insurance was paid for. I supported it. Every citizen that I talked to also supported it, because when it comes down to you need 911, you're not worried about that penny tax.
Absolutely.
You're not worried about it.
Yeah. Wesley Allen, candidate for re-election Ward D in the Childersburg City election coming up on August the 26th. Talk a bit, Wesley, about the financial status of the city of Childersburg.
So the city of Childersburg does operate with a balanced budget. We have for all 5 years that we have operated. It is, I will be very transparent with you, Jimmy, it's a tight budget. It's a lot that we do on $5 million, a little more than $5 million. So for me, it is very exciting to see the new businesses and people come in, because that's going to give us headroom in our budget. The revenues obviously need to go up to do more. But we've done everything we've done in a responsible manner. Our debt service is at a healthy level, like I mentioned, 12%. there's only two ways to change a budget, and that's either cut expenses or increase revenue, right? And we have decided as an administration and our citizens that we talk to, we don't want to cut our services. So the next thing we can do is generate growth and bring new dollars to our economy. And I believe we're seeing the start of something really big with our growth.
Do you see future growth in the short term or long term or both?
I think both. I think the important thing is the growth you see in Childersburg right now, you don't see. It's underground. We are putting a lot of investment into infrastructure, that stormwater drainage system at the utilities board. We're doing all kinds of water upgrades, gas upgrades, making sure our sewer is ready. If you go talk to a city that struggled to grow, they're 90% of the time they're going to tell you it was their infrastructure that held them back, right? And so we're trying to be very smart and logical about how we grow our infrastructure and make sure we are prepared for the growth that's coming.
You're 34 years old, a young man with 3 children and one really newborn just a month or so ago?
That's right.
And you could be doing a lot of things. Why continue to put your foot forward and serve the city of Childersburg for 4 more years?
Well, I feel like it's mainly because of my perspective. I think I'm the only one that was the only one for the past 5 years, and I believe I'd be the only one going forward that is, has a young family. And I think that's who we want to attract. We want to build a community where young working families are going to come in and call this home, right? I think a big part of that's going to be improving education. We need both public and private education options. We also want to offer more recreation opportunities. We go to the Chelsea Park a good bit. They do a great job. They have a splash pad, and that's going to be one of the things we look at this year is what can we do to increase rec opportunities, have a rec east facility on the side of, rec west facility on the west side of town, and let's see if we can't build a splash pad. I know it is a cliche term, but having a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and now a newborn, I'm telling you, splash pads are the real deal. You need a splash pad for kids.
You got a dream too, don't you?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. You have Childersburg, the city has CAC right there in your own front yard, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jeff Lynn, oh my goodness, what a fantastic job President Lynn is doing with CAC. To see the community colleges get back to public and private partnerships, they're finding out what businesses need in the community, and they build classes around it to train our workers. And you can ask Calvin Miller with Talladega County EDA, anybody that does industrial recruitment, the biggest challenge in this area is to recruit industries, educated employees. And so it's a problem we've definitely got to address and rectify.
Road construction. Oh my goodness. Talk about that. Where are we and where are we headed in Childersburg?
I think this election cycle we're going to have to focus even more on road paving because right before I was elected they did a large paving cycle. We got 5 years. Now it's time to start another cycle. That is being kicked off by repaving of Forest Hills Drive. Mayor Wesley was able to get a grant from the Rebuild Alabama grant. This is the gas tax that they passed. This is the first time we were able to get that money. And so that will kick off what we expect to be a larger paving project. Also, not just paving, but parking as well. We're expanding parking in the downtown area for these new businesses. So both of those, again, it's back to the infrastructure concerns. We have to be ready for the growth.
Downtown Childersburg, I've heard people say, well, downtown Childersburg needs work, needs remodels or whatever, but Rome wasn't built in a day. You have to move forward slowly but surely in the downtown area.
That's right, and I think most people understand this, but as I mentioned before, the state of Alabama, you can only do as a municipality what they allow you to do. And keep in mind, sometimes slow government's frustrating. Depending on who's elected, slow government can be a godsend. So government does need to move at a slow pace. The main thing is we are trying to make a culture and a city that's easy to do business with, financially viable to do business with, and with our abatements, we help encourage, okay, there is a minimum standard to do business here. And I understand that is just now taking effect. It takes years because this is still a free country. You can't go tell people what to do with their property immediately, but you can start setting that bar and we can start raising the bar.
5 years ago, you were elected to Ward D, and I'm sure during that time you've been able to make more connections in Montgomery and the state government. And how challenging is it for someone who is new to come into city government trying to make those same connections in Montgomery, which is direly needed?
You know, I guess as I had been raised, you kind of look at the incumbent as, you know, we really need fresh blood in there. And I get that. There is a part of that. You've got to have fresh blood, but it does come at a cost. There is knowledge from already being in the position that you learn the connections, you know who to call. And it's not that somebody else can't learn it. I had to, right? But it does cost valuable time. That is one cost that when you elect a new person, it does take time for education, training to learn who to call. And I'll also say, by the way, you mentioned our at the state level, our representatives and senators have been so fantastic to work with in Childersburg. Ken and us, they've been great to us, very helpful, and have been nothing but good.
Wow. Wesley Allen, candidate for re-election in the August 26 city election, municipal elections, and he is in Ward D and the incumbent there, and 5 years he has served. He's 34 years old, running for re-election in Ward D. And what would be maybe an item or two, Wesley, that you'd like to continue if re-elected on August 26th?
I really believe that our industrial park is ready to see tenants now, but I would be thrilled to be in the council position when they come. I really believe they're coming. We've set everything up, and we believe that it's going to make a significant change. The other thing I want to see is to make sure the employees are taken care of. We've done some good things as far as raising our police officer and fire. We've raised their starting pay up. We need to give them a goal to shoot for. We need a pay scale. We need to be able to provide raises that are significant and help people have better quality of life.
Do you see more police units on the roadway in the next 4 years?
You know, I leave that up to our police chief. Right now, he says we're in great shape. In fact, he says, if you want to be honest, Childersburg is a safe city.
Hey, wow.
I mean, we have very, very few issues, and I would defer that to him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Wesley Allen, candidate for re-election, Ward D of the Childersburg Council, coming up on August the 26th. Before we go this morning, I want you to speak to the voters in Childersburg and why you are running for re-election and what do you pledge. You talked about it a little bit earlier, but I want to go a little bit deeper with this. What do you pledge to the citizens of Childersburg if re-elected on August the 26th?
Well, again, I keep it simple. The past 5 years, my main focus has been the industrial park. That is what I've wanted to make sure is shovel ready, that we can bring industry to the area, because we've got to have dollars flowing into our economy. This coming term, it's really simple. It's growth, do everything in our power to make sure we are city friendly to do business with and we can grow. It's about families, making sure we are an area that is equipped to handle kids and have great experiences, a great quality of life, a safe place to live, and progress. I know that's kind of a generic term, but what I wanted to say out of progress is we're not just going to do things because that's the way we've always done it. We want to do things because they work, and sometimes that means progress, and sometimes change can hurt on the front end, but progress is worth it.
Wesley, appreciate you coming this morning.
Thank you for the time.
Congratulations on 5 years and running for re-election. If people have questions for Wesley Allen, I guess you got an open door policy, right?
I do, absolutely. Our email address is listed on the city website. You can have my phone number. It's 256-267-9525. I will be honest with you, I work from home and on meetings a lot, so I probably do better with text. Email address is wesley.allen@live.com. And as far as I know, in the past 5 years, there's never been a message from one of my constituents I have not answered. If I haven't, you reach back out to me because I just missed it, but I try to respond to everybody.
No, that's clear transparency.
Yeah, it is.
Wesley, thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you all.
Wesley Allen, re-election candidate for Ward D in the Childersburg City election, coming up on August 26th. More after this.